As we get closer to the end of the year, there's one thing that we all look forward to, and that is Digit's Zero1 Awards, where we go through hundreds of different products across multiple categories, and we try to find the very best product in each category, where the only criteria is performance. Now, the graphics card segment has seen quite a lot of action from one brand, but not so much from the other. And we are obviously talking about NVIDIA in this case, which came out with the Turing architecture, or rather, for most people, it would be the RTX series. So we had three major launches at the beginning of August. And that was the RTX 2080 Ti, the 2080, as well as the 2070 that came a bit later. From AMD, we didn't see much until mid-November when they came out with the RX 590, which is the exact same thing as the RX 580, but with a few key improvements. First of all, they shrunk the manufacturing process down from 14 nanometers to 12 nanometers, and that allowed them to save some power. The savings was then capitalized to provide more performance. So overall, you have a slightly souped up version of the RX 580 as the RX 590. Now, Turing in particular brought about this wonderful technology, or rather wonderful in their words, called ray tracing. And this time it was real-time ray tracing, because these cards from NVIDIA using the Turing architecture have enormous capabilities because of their new architecture as well as their tensor cores. What they can do is leverage these things to provide real-time ray tracing, which is an extremely compute-intensive process. And the tensor cores in particular are being used for DLSS, that's deep learning supersampling, which is a variant of anti-aliasing, but with AI thrown into the mix. So the more time and more frames that you throw at this particular technology, the better it gets. Now, that's about most of the action that happened in the GPU segment. Later next year or early next year, we should be seeing something from Intel. But that's about it for now, and we'll take a look at, first off, we have the Gigabyte RTX 2080 Ti Gaming OC Edition. Then we have the Zotac RTX 2080 Ti AMP Edition, followed by the Asus ROG Strix RTX 2080 Ti O11G Gaming Edition. We also have an RTX 2080 in particular from Gigabyte, the Aorus RTX 2080 Extreme Edition. Then we have the NVIDIA reference card for the RTX 2070. And lastly, from the AMD camp, we have the Sapphire Nitro Plus RX 590. Now, a little more about all of these individual graphics cards. Most of them are more or less the same. We'll start off with the RTX 2080 Ti, Aorus RTX 2080 Ti from Gigabyte, and this happens to be a RTX 2080 Ti with 3 fans for the cooler, as well as a turbo boost clock that goes up all the way to 1665 megahertz. The cooling technology in use is called WindForce. Then we have the Zotac RTX 2080 Ti AMP Edition, which also features a triple fan cooler design and has a boost clock of 1665 megahertz, just as the previous card. And the lighting system on the Zotac card is called Spectra. Then you have the Asus ROG RTX 2080 Ti O11G Gaming Edition, which again is an RTX 2080 Ti with 3 fans for cooler, as well as a boost clock of 1665 MHz. Following that is Gigabyte Aorus RTX 2080 Extreme Edition, which is one step below the RTX 2080 Ti, and this too has a triple fan cooler system, but the clock in this case is much higher because there are a lot fewer cores in the GPU. Following this is the NVIDIA RTX 2080, the Reference Edition, which, as you know, is the Reference Edition which is supposed to be the best in terms of build quality and cooling from NVIDIA itself, and this time the clock speed is 1710 MHz. Lastly, we have the only Radeon card from the mix, and this is the Sapphire Nitro Plus RX 590. It's got a slightly improved clock speed over the RX 580, and in this case it's the 1560 MHz, and as for the cooler, it's got a dual fan system. So those were all the nominees for the graphics card category for our 2018 Zero1 Awards. If you wish to figure out who won in this particular category, you will have to go out and get the December issue of Digit.